Every year, 1.2 million students drop out of school. That's 7,000 dropouts every day, or 1 every 26 seconds. This statistic is alarming, and something must be done to reduce the amount of kids who feel their only option is to quit school. As a student myself, I have encountered my fair share of difficulties in the classroom, but I have also had great success. I attribute most of the success to the foundation I developed during the 10 years I attended Montessori school. This brings me to my visual aid. I thought this would be a particularly good way to do it because this is actually the Montessori school that I attended. In addition to that, these pictures here are my family because they were the founders of this Montessori school and played a huge part in spreading it throughout New Jersey. They're actually the largest Montessori chain in New Jersey. So these are my 4 aunts, my grandpa, grandma, my mom, my uncles. That's my cousin, and this is my sister here. So, and then on this one goes over, like parent reviews, what people have said about Montessori schools, so on and so forth. So that's my visual aid. With such severe dropout rates in America, there's an obvious and clear need to make an adjustment to the traditional education most kids are receiving. It's not so much that students are incapable of succeeding academically, however, they simply lack the confidence and skill set to stay on course and ultimately graduate. To address this problem, I propose a Montessori method of learning. The Montessori method serves as a guide to raising unselfish, self-regulated, caring human beings who are problem solvers and have the self-confidence to lead successful lives through their own efforts rather than at the expense of their fellow citizens. Maria Montessori was the creator of this teaching style. She believed that young children have extremely absorbent minds and that parents, with the help of Montessori schools, have the ability to teach their kids the skill set they will need throughout life. And it can start from a very young age. These skills do not just include the standard arithmetic and reading taught at traditional schools. It starts on a more basic level, taking the clean slate of a child's mind and introducing it to an environment that promotes social interaction, independence, creativity, imagination, and even body control. All these factors indirectly translate into the classroom, but are so often unaddressed at traditional schools. Many of you parents out there that are listening might ask, well, how does this lead to higher SAT scores? Or will Montessori help my child get A's once he reaches high school or even college? The answer is absolutely yes, but not only that, it will help your child live a more fulfilled life in many different facets. This brings me to a quote I'd like to share with you by the founder Maria Montessori regarding her philosophy. Our care of the child should be governed not by the desire to make him learn things, but by the endeavor always to keep burning within him that light which is called intelligence. Now, I ask you as the audience to reflect on what this means. Think about a time when you realized you wish you had a better mindset. A time where maybe you had felt your education failed you, and most of what you learned came from outside of the classroom. The goal of Montessori is to facilitate and ignite the learning that takes place in the home and on the streets. Many parents are hesitant to push their child down the Montessori route of learning because it's so different from the style they're used to, or even the style that they have for themselves. I hear far too often people say things like, I never went to Montessori school, but hey, look at me, I turned out fine. But as parents, ask yourself, do you want better for your child? One common misconception of Montessori is that kids are treated almost like lab rats and they are undergoing some child psychological study. This could not be further from the truth. The Montessori methods are proven to work. How do we know? By examining the success of people who went through the programs. Just to name a few, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, founders of Google. P. Diddy, rapper and entertainer. Prince William and Prince Harry, royalty. Julia Child, author, chef, TV cooking show host, as well as Gabriel Garcia Marquez, a Nobel Peace Prize winner for literature. As you can see by this list, success for Montessori students comes in many different forms. Thinking realistically, a child's education should prepare them for a future we cannot grasp. We have no idea what the world will be like years from now or what it will take to be successful. Those who believe in Montessori believe that it will stand the test of time because its unique methods that focus on cognitive brain function. Now let me take you into a traditional classroom. A teacher stands at the front of the class as the center of attention, lecturing students on what information they need to know. In a Montessori setting, the children are addressed by a teacher as a group. They are told to line up with their hands by their side and their toes together. They anxiously wait with excitement. All around them, the class is filled with games, materials, puzzles designed to stimulate the mind. The teacher will then give the children permission of free rein to explore the classroom, which they truly love, discovering all the possibilities there are and figuring out different ways of working alongside their classmates. The teacher is only there to serve as an aid to their creativity and learning, as well as to provide encouragement and praise for good behavior. This is very practical in real-life scenarios, having to take initiative and find your own individual niche in the world. Visualize a world operating just as a Montessori classroom, where everyone worked together because it was the only thing you knew how to do. A society with no authority figures necessary to make sure you acted a certain way. An independent, self-governing community that functions because it's full of responsible, intelligent, lifelong learners. Making the transition from regular education to Montessori lifestyle is only possible if parents realize the potential of their children and decide to act. You have the ability to make a difference in the world through your children. Don't allow your kids to just be another bad statistic. Make Montessori the standard of learning and not the exception. The reason kids fail is because as soon as they hit an obstacle, they become discouraged. And rather than figuring out ways to work around it, they resort to falling back on the activities that come naturally to them. Taking the easy way out is something many kids figure out how to do in a traditional classroom setting. At Montessori schools, discovering ways to work through challenges is what the kids enjoy the most. There's a whole section of the classroom referred to as practical life, where kids are given age-appropriate scenarios and encouraged to handle each one to the best of their ability. This innovative style of learning is better suited for the ways to achieve success in the culture we now live in. Not only can Montessori help reduce dropout rates, it will continue to push the advancement of society. It's my belief that if we could get all American children exposed to Montessori, our future will be bright.